Yeah, this one's going. All right. In three, two, one. Hello, and welcome to Cast of Strong Style. I'm your host, Don Delarente, and I'm joined once again by my co-host, Anwar Starwin. What's going on, Anwar?
Hello, Don. Hello, the lovely people in our universe.
Welcome to another episode of Cast of Strong Style. Glad that you could join me, man.
I'm always glad to partake in a parlay with you.
All right. Uh, Cast of Strong Style is being brought to you by the CSPN. You can find us on the web at www.cspn.us. So, Anwar, we're going to wrap up the G1 tournament here on this final review as we're going to have night 17, 18, and 19 of the tournament. So, it's been a great tournament so far, and the conclusion was epic as well. So, night 17, we start out with Michael Elgin versus Makabe. Elgin hits Splash Mountain and only gets a 2 count. Makabe fights off the powerbomb attempt, but Elgin rocks him with strikes. Makabe no-sells the lariat, and then Makabe hits his own. They trade strikes, and Makabe hits the DVD, and then he heads up top, and he hits that King Kong knee drop, and Makabe gets the win over Michael Elgin.
Man, they drop bombs on each other. It definitely felt like to get my shit in type of affair, but I am not mad at that, man.
Yeah, that was a really a good hoss match, like as I call them, where two big guys is going there and hit each other really hard, and no sell a couple of moves here and there too. So yeah, very entertaining.
Yeah, man. I'm always here for those type of matches every once in a while.
Our next match, we had the Hangman Adam Page versus Yoshihashi and his wig. What's going on, Moto? So Page fights back with strikes and looks for rite of passage, but Yoshihashi hits a destroyer for a 2 count. The backstabber follows, and then Karma connects, and Yoshihashi picks up the victory.
Man, I I like that destroyer sequence. I didn't really rock with this match. I don't know. It just didn't connect with me. Maybe it was just the wrong time me watching or something. It just didn't go. It didn't work for me. But with that said, Paige had a hell of a tournament. And Tacos, I mean, whether you wanted him in the tournament or not, he pretty much showed that he was worthy to be in the tournament with some of his like matches in the A block. So props to Tacos, and the future looks interesting for Adam Page. Just need New Japan to just lock him up.
Yeah, I think their deals start back at like the beginning of the year or around the Tokyo Dome show. So if the contract is extended out to him, it'll probably be around then, close to around Christmas, I guess. They try to get in front of WWE if they come snooping around again.
Oh, you know they're going to come snooping around, especially after what he just done did at that tournament and what he's been doing across the year. If you've been really been paying attention for real.
Hmm.
If I was over there, I would be a big proponent to bring him in, but that's how it is.
We had Bad Luck Fale face off against Minoru Suzuki. Fale looks for the Bad Luck Fall. Suzuki escapes and gets the sleeper. Suzuki then lays in strikes. Fale fires up, and Suzuki continues to light him up with more strikes. The sleeper follows, and Fale starts to fade. Desperado takes out Tangaloa, but then Tamatanga arrives. He attacks and he hits the gun stun on Minoru Suzuki, and we get a disqualification.
What did you feel about this match, Donna?
It was all right, the kind of clash of styles. So, it's a little wonky here or there, but you kind of knew the run in was coming. You just needed to know, how it was going to go down. And so they did a little bit of twist on it where Tamatanga came out of nowhere and just hit him with the gun stun.
My question for you is because I listen to a lot of stuff, and a commonality is even with the lost weight. I mean, Folly still wrestles pretty much the same. You would think he would have more speed or something. It seems like he hasn't adjusted his style to his new body.
Right. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think he still has that big man, thing going on where he hasn't kind of spruced it up to add a little bit more, movement, a little bit faster pace to what he's doing.
I think he would be good actually if he like just take a look at some Haku stuff or Umaga stuff or even Rikishi, like and maybe even Yokozuna. Like he could pick up some stuff and then add it to his repertoire. Not necessarily move sets, but just like little things that we can't really see, but it would help him. Because I do like Fale as a person because he's a likable person. He's very good, but just like I can't can't really rock with some of his matches.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was listening to something today and everybody's like, well, he had good matches with Okada and he had good matches with Tanahashi and he had good matches with Omega. It's like, well,
I'm just saying,
okay.
some of the greatest
Right.
wrestlers in the world in all time. Like
Right.
anybody can have a great match with them. You just got to be an active participant with them.
Right. Right. So we get Switchblade, Jay White. He faces off against Evil. The Kiwi Crusher connects for a 2 count. Jay gets a chair, but Evil uses the ref as a shield and then he hits a lariat. The ref takes the chair from Evil and Jay hits another sleeper suplex. Evil counters the Blade Runner and we get a ref bump. Evil cuts off the chair shot with Everything is Evil and Evil gets the win. Now, this loss was significant because it basically eliminated Jay White from being able to participate in the final.
Yep, man, and I cheered. I'm gonna be honest, I cheered. I was like, "That's what you get, Jay. That's what you get." But yeah, this was a good tournament, like closer for both of them. Evil's cleverness in avoiding danger and getting the win was great. Uh, even though I didn't love Evil's tournament in comparison to his previous one or even the one his first one, he still has some really good matches within it. And plus, we got to give him a little break because he's been battling like I think a leg injury or something. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad Evil got that win and the future looks bright. I love that Jay brought back the Kiwi Crusher, and actually I like the Kiwi Crusher more as a finisher than the Blade Runner, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it was good to see that. Hadn't seen it in a while. He hadn't really been breaking that out since he's kind of adopted this Switchblade moniker. But yeah, it was cool to kind of see him bring that back out. Like he kind of went to the wells, like, I'm gonna have to do something a little different tonight.
For people that don't really like know how Jay wrestled previously, because wrestling as a face or a heel is different things compared on who is the wrestler. I would say go back from last year and check out the match that Jay had against Will Ospreay, and you can see what Jay could do as a baby face. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like he's just trying to like find his path or something with that. His character is more stronger than his actual in ring right now, and I don't think because he doesn't have the talent. I know he has the talent. It's just he's young, so
Right,
don't give
right.
don't give up on Switchblade.
Like I said on the last show, it's like they told them that all the heels that they're pushing to just crank it up to the max instead of like, you know, wrestle really good and use a few dirty tactics here and there. And
Yeah,
just
yeah.
to show that you are the heel. But man, they were like, nah, turn it up to like 12.
It's danger when you have everybody doing that because it's
Right,
room to be like have heel do subtle dirty stuff. I think like Cody does subtle dirty stuff too, like the best.
right, for sure. Then we get our A block final matchup. It is the Rainmaker, Okada, versus the Ace, Tanahashi. If Okada wins this match, Okada will leapfrog Tanahashi, and Okada will go to the final. If Tanahashi wins this match or earns a draw, Tanahashi will end up in the G1 final. So Okada hits the twisting Rainmaker, and then he pulls up Tanahashi. But Tanahashi counters the second Rainmaker into a cradle for a great near fall. There's under 2 minutes left. Tanahashi hits the Dragon Suplex, and we get another great near fall. The crowd is just losing their minds right now. Okada looks for the Rainmaker again, but Tanahashi fights, and he counters the Rainmaker with a huge strike, and both men are down. Tanahashi heads up top. He hits the high fly flow, and Okada kicks out just as time expires. So as a result of the draw, Tanahashi is the winner of the A block and will go on to the final.
It comes back to show you them early losses by Okada really put him behind the like 8 ball.
Right.
Because if he would have had not lost one of those matches, probably it probably would have been some type of other type of tiebreaker because they both lost to Jay or something. I don't know. It'd be, but that those early losses really got Okada in the end. So even though he looked like he was regaining his confidence of being the guy what he once was,
Mm-hmm.
um, I was just like, man, that was a great match. Just like at times during the tournament, like Tanahashi put in really good, like good and really good matches, but nothing on this level. It just feels like, okay, I'm gonna get myself through this tournament and then just hit you with just John Blaze stuff at the end, and he did it. But that overarching narrative that was presented within the match and for long term viewers knows it.
Yeah.
Tanahashi at this point cannot beat Okada. It's been 3.5 years since he beat Okada at Wrestle Kingdom. It just don't feel like he's going to ever beat Okada again. So, I mean, that was a nice touch to keep that stuff. See, that's that long-term booking stuff I love that I grew up with to a degree. Like, it's payoff for everybody that's been watching the shoot for so long. Because even though Tanahashi was close to beating him at G1 a couple of years ago in this match, he still hasn't beaten him. And even at Okada's lowest, Tanahashi still can't beat him. And that, as a proud man, that has to mess with Tanahashi.
Yeah, this match was awesome, man. It was so much fun. Um, just the crowd was so into it right from the beginning, and the pace that these guys went at was just amazing. I think that these last two nights for Tanahashi, man, he just set a pace that was just amazing. And when it comes down to the last 2 minutes, and Okada's getting ready to hit maybe what looks like that final rainmaker, and then Tanahashi slaps him and stops him in like mid swinging on the clothesline. Oh man, that just took the crowd to a new level. And then he kind of hit the high fly flow or whatever, and everybody thought it was over. And right as he kicked out, bell rings, and Rishi's looking around like, "Oh, that's the time."
Oh, word!
Yeah. So just a great build up to the finish, and just a wonderful match. A lot of places have this as a 5-star match in their rating. So, and
I got it 5 stars too. Like you don't overthink that. You feel it. If
right.
it's a feeling, and if you don't feel it, you shouldn't. It's not a 5 star match, or it's not a classic match. I mean, it still could be a classic match, but it's not a 5. I felt it after the match. Like this is 5 stars. So yeah, I went 5 on it.
Yeah, I did too as well.
5 on it.
This is Cast a Strong Style. I'm your host, Don DeLaurente. I'm joined by my co-host, Anwar Starwin, and we're in the middle of reviewing the final 3 nights of the G1 Climax. So we're going to move on to night 18. These are the B block finals. We have Tama Tonga versus Yano. Tama Tonga shoves the ref down, and Yano makes the big comeback with a throw and a tackle. Tonga Loa and Fale arrive. Officials head them off, and that allows Tonga to attack Yano. Tonga shoves the ref down again, and then gun stuns the ref for the DQ.
What did you feel about this match, Don?
Oh, it was fun. Tama Tonga comes out there after they issue that edict, and I think one of the first words he says is "motherfucker." So it's like, oh, it's good to see that he's adhering to the new non-curse words, English curse words on the broadcast. So yeah, that got everything off to a rip-roaring start. And the DQ, whatever. It was weird that he actually did it to the ref this time, though. It's like, oh, really changing it up this time.
I can't remember. Was this like the night that they got kicked out the arena?
Yeah, it was.
I saw the video of that afterwards. I was laughing. Actually, I saw them getting pulled out the arena because I think I woke up like literally like around that time, and I saw them getting yanked off the stage. I was like,
yeah,
wow, just wow. It's like, no, you got to go. No more, no more New Japan for you today, buddy. They kicked him out of the place.
Yeah, they kicked them
And
all, and then they made an announcement that
into,
they kicked them out.
and it kicked him out into a truck. I ain't never seen that before. Oh man.
So the second match in the B block finals is Juice Robinson versus Goto. Juice Robinson counters to Shoten Kai, but Goto headbutts him and hits the GTR. Goto counters Pulp Friction with the sleeper. Robinson counters out, and Pulp Friction is countered again. Juice Robinson hits the left-handed God, and then he hits the Pulp Friction, and he gets the win. So what was very interesting about this match was from the very beginning of the match, Juice unwrapped his hand so he could kind of be like his normal self, and it looked like it kind of helped him because he wrestled more of us his normal Juice Robinson match that he had been kind of having before the hand injury, and it ended up leading him to finally beat Goto because it's the first time he's ever beaten Goto. They wrestled like 3 times, I think, prior to
This
this.
was it. This was the third time, and he
Okay,
finally beat Goto. Yep.
yeah,
It was a nice way to close up that arc, and it was an awesome match. But I know for a fact if you were to give them 2 more time, would have been even better. But you got to do what you got to do within the confines of time. But yeah, it was a dope. It's crazy to see that Goto only finished with 6 points, but he did what was best for business and help like give Juice that little boost, even though Juice finished with like a low score. That the last image in people's minds who saw that his match in the finals, that finals, is that he won, and he won versus the reigning never champion and a person that has been his white whale. So that's a big win for Juice on multiple levels.
yeah, definitely was. Next up, Sonata versus the MVP of this year's G1 tournament, Ishii.
Big match, Ishii.
We get a Shining Wizard by Ishii. Ishii fires up, and Sonata counters the lariat and rolls into the skull end. Ishii escapes. They trade enziguris, and Ishii hits a pop-up headbutt followed by a lariat. Ishii destroys him with a huge lariat for an awesome near fall, and the vertical drop brainbuster finishes off Sonata.
I kind of was like feeling my way through the match early, but then it hit that nice spot early, and then the whole match connected with me. And from that point forward, in it, I was completely engaged, and it was like I like that match probably more than other people match do. It's not that it's I don't know what I like more than either that or the main event of that night. But it's probably I like the main event a little bit more, but not a whole lot. It's not that giant gap between entertainment value for me with those 2 matches.
Yeah, this was a really good match, man. Sonata with that athleticism, and then Ishii with that, straight ahead, Stone Pitbull style. Yeah, it made for a really, really, really fun match between those two.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just a lot of people felt like last year should have been the year for Sonata to break out, and even though he doesn't have the points, he broke out more this year. It's funny how that works out. Where people were expecting Sonata to break out last year, and it was Evil, and
Mm-hmm.
this year it was more people just expecting Evil to like continue on the same trajectory, and people hoping for Sonata to do good, but not being too confident about it. But it's funny how life works out sometimes.
We move on to our semi-main event. We have Naito versus Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. lays in PKs, but Naito blocks one and he hits the German and the flying forearm. But Zack Sabre Jr. gets the European clutch for a 2 count. The Fujinami Cradle follows for a 2 count. Zack Sabre Jr. counters Destino, but Naito gets it on the second try. Zack Sabre Jr. counters the second Destino attempt into the Zack Sabre Jr. driver or the Taka Michinoku driver, and Zack Sabre Jr. picks up the victory.
Boy, my timeline was in shock and frustration, and also jubilation. That hug that like Taka and Zach have had after the match was awesome, and one of those feel good moments. Even though they're heels, but you still feel good because it was an awesome moment. Like Uncle Taka giving his co-high like a hug. That was awesome. Like, yeah, man, this match was awesome, and like Zach saving that Zach driver for just the right moment, and he to put away Naito because I don't think he used that move the whole damn tournament. So anybody who was paying attention, you was waiting to see when he would use it and who he would use it on, and he used it on the People's Champ Naito. So sorry, Lij fans. I am one too, but hey man, this match was awesome.
The
I,
Budokan was definitely behind Naito in this match.
yeah, man, they were behind Naito. They wanted him to win so bad, and now like Zach is 2-0 versus Naito for the year. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he has that over Naito's head too. So yeah, man. And then I love how like Zach got Naito back for being a dick, and he was not here for it, and he clowned him. He clowned him before the match. He clowned him after the match, and hey man, when you win, you can say what you want.
What was funny is, Naito was taking his time getting to the ring, getting out of
Yeah.
the suit, and starting the match. And Zack Sabre Jr. was going ballistic, screaming across the ring at him. I was like, holy shit, he's caged up right now. He is ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. He was salty, and he made Naito pay for that. So
he did. So now we move into our finals, the B block finals. Kenny Omega facing off with his Golden Lover counterpart, Kota Ibushi. If Omega wins this match, or draws, he gets into uh, the final. Ibushi has to win this match, and by virtue of a lot of tiebreakers, Ibushi will end up going into the final. So Kota Ibushi heads up top, and he misses the Phoenix Splash. We get a V trigger to the back of his head from Kenny Omega, followed by the J Driller, and we get a near fall. The V trigger connects, but then Ibushi counters the one winged angel. Omega then hits the Omari driver variation and covers for a 2 count, and that gets followed by another V trigger. Omega climbs the ropes and looks for the super one winged angel, but Ibushi fights for his life and climbs on Omega's back, and he comes off with a double stomp. Ibushi follows him back up top, and then he hits a super tiger driver, but Omega somehow kicks out. The Kamigoye connects, and Kenny Omega is done as Kota Ibushi advances to the G1 final to face Tanahashi.
man, putting these two guys versus each other is dangerous, but it's so entertaining. They broke out some really donkey type stuff, but it was so awesome. I
That
and
super
I like.
tiger driver off the
Oh
top
my
ropes.
god! It's
Holy
like
shit.
kill each other. No, be careful, guys. I was like over there being scared. Didn't he hit? I was like, ah, scream. Um, just I like the fact that yes, we are best friends or lovers, but we will. When it comes down to it, we all want to be in the main event, and we want to be the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll give each other everything, like just like we give anybody else. It's no holding back. And even though I say it's no holding back, I think they saved some stuff for the future. So this is an awesome match, one of the best matches of the tournament, and a nice conclusion for Omega, who had a great tournament. Not MVP, but close. So it was a big win for Ubaton.
Yeah, man, that was a great match. The crowd was going crazy, and Kota Ibushi winning was definitely a favorite. It definitely went over well with the crowd. They were very excited to have that happen. And then the end, the Young Bucks out there, kind of, and Kenny and celebrating with Kota and everything like that, because it took them a minute to kind of figure out the points and stuff. So they were kind of all in the ring together there for a second. So that was a really cool visual to see all four of them kind of, congratulating Ibushi once the announcement came down and everything like that. So that was pretty cool.
That was a really cool touch, yeah. And how they all went back to the back together. That was pretty cool too.
Right. This is Cast a Strong Style. You can find us on the web at cspn.us. You can also find us on Google, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So we get into night 19, the final night of the tournament. We're going to talk about some things on the undercard before we get to the actual final match, the main event. So we had the return of Cody to Japan, and he teamed up with Hangman Page to go against Juice Robinson and David Finlay. So Cody fights off Pulp Friction. Finlay makes the save, but Page hits the buckshot lariat. Cody and Juice trade strikes, and then they trade kicks. Juice looks for Pulp Friction, but Cody hits Den's Fire for the win. Post-match, Cody runs down Juice and declares himself the next IWGP United States champion. He basically said he's tired of the wrestling media, the IWC, talking about Juice Robinson has turned the corner when the only thing that Juice Robinson has done is has done a bad impersonation of Kari Sane.
Bruh, I fucking laughed and died at that. And then I laughed later on when Kari was like, I guess? Kari's response was funny to gift. Because I was like, I never even really thought about the fact that, yeah, Juice stuff kind of do look like Kari until Cody pointed that out. And I was like, he ain't actually, it's some shade, but it's actually kind of true. And then Juice got him back in the promo with like no selling Stephen Amell from Arrow.
Yeah.
Basically saying in so many words that Cody was a lazy ass part timer. And everybody out here swimming with the sharks when you were dancing with the stars. So that like the promos for their upcoming matches is gonna be ridiculous. It was a really good match, but I feel it was kind of messed up the fact that Cody just could come out of nowhere and just get a title shot where other people put in that work in the G1. And
well, you see that in the promo where Juice talks about everybody who he lost to, but he was like, "We gonna move your ass to the front of the line."
Yeah, that helped the situation as well. But it's like, I think if New Japan was doing better, like getting sales like they want for those West Coast shows, they wouldn't have had to do that to put Cody in. Because I don't think that might have been their original plan, but they had to because the tickets weren't moving like they wanted it to. And if you put Cody on that card in a match of that nature, it's gonna definitely help the show get tickets and maybe even sell out. And also, it can also help Juice get more renowned in America too. So it's
Right.
actually a positive thing. It's just I was kind of like, damn, that's kind of messed up. But it ain't about who's deserving or whatnot. It's about what is best for the situation, I guess. So it's another thing with this match too, because it's some nice stuff. I like the fact that Cody, even though he's aligned with Kenny and them, still a dirty heel. I like that. And it also makes you a little bit uneasy with him too, with them, because you never know, he might be a snake in the grass on the low. So, and also another thing with that, him and Hangman make a hell of a tag team. And like I could see them as tag champs at some point somewhere down the line. They really worked well together.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that those two like also bring out like the darkness in Hangman where you don't see that darkness with the other guys. It's really prominent when he's with Cody. So it kind of goes back. It ties into the stuff Tana said. Like I really would like to get to work with Hangman because he has so much potential, and I want to get all that Bullet Club out of him. But even with that, it's more to that. We'll touch on that later in the show.
The Young Bucks and Marty Scurll are here, and they're going to face off against the Gorillas of Destiny and Taiji Ishimori. So before the match, Tama Tonga gets on the mic and he says, "Hey, put those titles up. Let's make this championship match." Our man Harold May, the new Japan president, is out there ringside. Harold May gets on the mic. He says, "Yeah, let's do it. So let's make it a title match." So now this turns into a never open weight 6-man title match. The Bucks look for the Meltzer driver, but Tonga Loa cuts it off and it completely breaks down. Loa cuts off Marty, but Marty looks to break his fingers. Marty gets caught by a gun stun from Tama Tonga, and we have brand new champions. After the match, the new champions beat down the former champions, and once they were done with that, they picked up the belts and threw them at the feet of Harold May and said, "We don't want Tamatanga. We don't want these shits."
They actually threw the IWGP tag team titles too,
Oh
and
yeah,
they basically said like we don't give a f about this stuff. So it's like it fits in what they established when they started the Firing Squad because Bullet Club hadn't had a IWGP Heavyweight Champion since AJ, and that was like late 2015.
mm-hmm.
So they finally get one, and then they kick them out. So it actually fits with their logic. It's not about titles; it's about being a unit and being one whole together, supporting each other. F the results, F the belts. It's all about us. So I get that element of it completely, but part of me thinks about what my man from SOS Wrestle Talk, like Dion said, it's it's these dudes are kind of, if you're not really paying attention to like the product, they low key stealing stuff from LIG creative wise, cause like Evil and LIJ have been about like, really man, it ain't no leader. We all just one family, bro. So they Fire Squad is still in that, and now they done this stuff with the title belts, and that's a direct steal from like Lij too, because let's be real, you saw what Naito did with the Intercon on the World Championship, so
Don't remind
eh,
me. I was
eh,
him and Naito had a very strenuous relationship during those runs.
oh, Don, I'm bringing back. I'm giving you PTSD, buddy. Oh, Don. Oh, well, don't let my man get any title again because he's gonna be swinging it again, and I'm gonna be all the way here for that. But yeah, it's. I love that Ishimori is also like aligned with them too now, so that's good. They need that workhorse talented dude, and he definitely brought a really good element to that match. I was like, I was happy to see him because I hadn't seen him in a while because he's been on the back burner since Super Juniors. So getting him heated up, giving him a title, and hopefully he'll be in the running to get that IWGP Junior Championship. But yeah, man, I like Reborn, man, Reborn. He really shined in that match. But yeah, the stuff with Harold May and people beefing about that, I personally don't want to see a on air character in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But if you listen to the crowd, they actually were really hyped for the fact that they came there just expecting a regular match and then got a title match, and it actually added to the energy in the match if you actually really paid attention. So that's one of those divides between the people at home and the people in the crowd. The people in the crowd for it, and the people at home were not. So Harold let out the statement about he's apologizing and whatnot. So just chill out on being on air. We get that from the other company. We don't need it here in New Japan. We're here for like the guys just doing what they do without
Yeah,
really without any of the like front office getting involved.
right. Do you think that they did that because they're trying to attract more Western viewers, and so they gave them something that they're kind of more accustomed to, with that authority figure, kind of making a matchup, kind of on the fly type thing?
I kind of do, but you got to be careful with doing that. You could still achieve that goal without having someone on air say it. You could just have somebody from the back come back and just whisper in the referee's ear and say, "It's been approved." It's ways around it without having an on air person. You got to be careful with that. You got to be careful putting all those Japanese titles on gaijins. Well, let me rephrase that: foreigners, because you're based in another in that country. You can't. You got it's a balancing act. You can't have too many foreigners as champions. I'm just even if you're branching out on a world basis, you got to kind of also cater to your base because don't sleep on the fact that all Japan is starting to heat up. Don't sleep on the fact that Dragon Gate, even though they're not doing the business they used to do, they still can turn it around at some point. So
In
they
Big
have
Japan,
competition.
even though it's like a comedy thing, a lot of people are starting to go to that now too. That's getting a lot of buzz too.
DDT has their base. They do their own thing. So you gotta be very careful about that, buddy.
Our next match, we had Kenny Omega, Chase Owens, and Yujiro versus Yano, Jay White, and Ishii. Ishii cuts off Owens and walks through super kicks, and then Ishii hits a headbutt and a lariat. Owens again looks for the package power driver, but Ishii kills Owens with a lariat, and the vertical drop brainbuster finishes off Chase Owens. After the match, Ishii officially challenges Kenny Omega to an IWGP Championship match.
Oh yeah. Where do we get it? Is it gonna be King of Pro Wrestling? Is it gonna be a Destruction Tour? Probably gonna be King of Pro Wrestling. Whatever
Yeah.
it happens, I'm gonna be all the way here for it. I don't care if Ishii wins. I mean, I would lose my mind if he wins, but I'm here for that rematch because that G1 match is ridiculous, and every Omega and Ishii match has been great matches. So why should I expect anything less? You know.
You're right. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in this match is Jay White starts it off, and he's in there for about a minute or so, and all of a sudden he just tags Yano like out of the blue, and Yano with her, and then Jay White just hopped the fuck out the ring straight to the floor and like starts almost like walking up the ramp. And he's just telling Yano, "Get in there, get in there, get in there." Yano's looking around like, "I'm not ready, I'm not ready." It's so funny.
Oh man, say wow.
So, in a surprise, Rey Mysterio Jr. is here, and he's teaming up with Kushida and Taguchi dressed up as some type of cosplay character. Sengoku Mai is what his name was, versus Sho, Yo, and Okada. This was a lot of fun. It breaks down as Okada and May hit stereo topes. Ray sends Yo to the ropes and he hits the 619. Then Ray hits a springboard splash and Rey Mysterio, Kushida, and Sinku May beat Sho, Yo, and Okada.
Wow,
Sign me
that's
up for
that's a big
Okada versus Rey Mysterio. Sign me up. Sign me up.
one. I would love to see that too, but Ray got that 2K money, that WWE 2K money. So that means he's not long for New Japan. So
Yeah, I don't know how long he's got before that WWE contract is official, or I think that might still be negotiating it according to Conan. But yeah, it's really close. So if New Japan is gonna get any more dates out of them, they got to do it quick because uh,
they need him at the show in
right,
September in California. That's
because
for a fact.
the video game comes out around October, usually around like Halloween.
Hmm.
So yeah, so basically they got probably up until the end of September to kind of get what they
Yeah,
can out of them.
yeah, he needs to be on that show for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But this was a lot of fun, man. Rey Mysterio in there with Okada, Rey Mysterio in there with Showing Yo. And man, these people in Japan came to see one thing from Ray, and that was the 619. So it was cool that he actually got a chance to wrestle in New Japan this time and not just, make an appearance and cut a promo like he did when he hurt his shoulder when he was
Yeah.
supposed to wrestle Jushin Thunder Liger. So good stuff there. Then we move into our main event of the evening, the Ace, Tanahashi, versus the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi. Tanahashi counters the Kamagoye into a twist and shout. He hangs on to Ibushi and hits another twist and shout. Tanahashi looks for a third twist and shout, but Ibushi escapes and lays in the strikes. Tanahashi hits the Dragon Suplex for another near fall. Tanahashi goes up top, and the high fly flow connects. He heads back up, and as he's heading back up, Ibushi gets back to his feet. So Tanahashi kind of alters himself and he hits the high cross body block. Tanahashi follows that up with another high fly flow, and the ace, Tanahashi, wins his third G1 tournament.
Man, that was Tanahashi held back. He was like playing possum on us, making some of us believe that might have been washed. Nope. He was saving the best for last, and my God, he killed it. Him and Ibushi have great chemistry, and it came through in this match. I was happy for Tanahashi to win it again, but I was also sad for Ibushi to get this far and not to like see it through.
Yeah, he was devastated at the end.
it that's really important for wrestling to show that it does matter. Some people will tell you wins and losses don't matter. It does matter. And the way wrestlers sell how they feel about losses or victory actually aids in that as well. As you can see how Zach was happy in winning and very frustrated in defeat. You see you saw like the previous night, Bushi happy in victory, the next night, sad in defeat. So
Hmm.
it's very important how they're portrayed. Don't let anybody fool you thinking it's not. Um, I love that I'm a Tanahashi fan since the match he had against AJ at TNA Final Resolution 2006. That was the first match that I saw Tanahashi wrestle, and I've been keeping up with him over the years. Certain things I didn't know. I didn't know how he was important he was to New Japan until later on. My friends informed me and people watching. So, like for like new fans, you need to know this and understand this for a fact. It would be no New Japan if Tanahashi didn't have start to turn the tide with him and Guido, the booking team, and also Nakamura and Ningata to lesser degrees, but they were also important from preventing the company being out of business. So anytime you see Tanahashi, you have to understand that and give that man that respect. Because if the work he and his friends didn't come through, you would not be watching New Japan right now. So Tanahashi is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. He should have displayed it again. Bushi's one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. To me, Bushi was right behind, slowly a step behind, like Ishii as MVP. So hopefully the greater days ahead for Coda and here we go. We'll see how that main event go because Tanahashi and Omega have not faced off since that New Beginnings match in 2016 when they were wrestling for the IWGP vacant Intercontinental Championship, and they have not interacted on a singles match since. So that match was protected. This may be Tanahashi's last main event match at Wrestle Kingdom. So I expect him to go all out, whether he wins or loses. It's fine with me because I'm getting to see Tanahashi in the spot I didn't expect to ever see him again, to be quite honest. And I know Omega as a person with pride and wanting to always have the best match is gonna they're gonna bring it all out, and we'll just see how the trips may fall. But now we head into the post match stuff, and Tanahashi playing little mind games and talking about I don't know about Ibushi. He's a great wrestler. He's one of the best wrestlers, but to him to fully reach his potential, he needs to separate himself from Kenny because you can't. It's going to be hard for him to be the best person he possibly can be with that relationship. And and yeah, Omega was not happy about that. If you saw him replying to the translation from Chris Charlton, who was excellent on commentary again. That the commentary for the tournament was great, but especially when they brought in Chris for the last couple of nights, he gave exposition for stuff that some of us didn't know.
Yeah,
When
he
you
had a
really,
lot of history,
he's
a lot of history with how things were linked up and progressions and how hey, they haven't done this since this few years back, and yeah, he had a lot of good information.
like if you want to get more information from him, just check out his books because they recently came. Like one his new book about the history of the dome and other companies wrestling with it is out. So yeah, check that out. And has another book from a couple years ago, so you should check that as well. He's a good dude. But yeah, man, just Tana just poking the bear, and Mega did not really like that, and then he started firing off on him. Shoot, seemed like a shoot, and said, "That's why you ain't all in, brother." They're like, "That's why you ain't all in, you old bastard." So many words, and then because I think Chris also talked about Tana playing them tricks with tacos, talking about tacos got a lot of talent, but it ain't really working for him in chaos. He needs to come with me, and I could get the best out of him. And also what he said, and how I like what I was talking about Hangman. Hangman to reach his full potential, he needs to be with me, and I could get it out of him. And for me, as a person who watched other sports, this stuff kind of reminded me of the mind games that Kobe played on Russell Westbrook and tried to play on Kevin Durant when they were like on Team USA with them, because he saw them as threats. So he tried to just do say little things to throw like Russell off, but they weren't going for the cheese at the time. Eventually they did, but he was already out. But just old tricks veterans do to young people that might be in their way, or like units that could be in their way. So they try to weaken them, so to open up the lane for them to do better. So it's just like over there messing with Bullock, messing with the elite, messing with chaos. Yeah, y'all be looking like Tony, like you just like this cool old dude, real smart, bro. You went to an Ivy League school in Japan. Don't sleep on him.
One of the coolest things and of the whole thing was my man Shibata was out there in Tanahashi's corner, and then after the match, Shibata lifted Tanahashi up and did like a lap around the ring. I almost lost it.
Brother, I fucking lost my mind at that, because Shibata's one of my favorite dudes, and
it was very emotional for me because Shibata's my guy too.
Just see him out there smiling and being happy for your friend, even though it's not you, and you can probably visualize yourself in that position, but you being there for your friend. Those two are two of the three New Japan, new generation, or current generation Musketeers. It's Tanahashi, Shibata, and our man doing a best keeping them getting them checks impersonation in WWE, Shinsuke Nakamura. That is the three Musketeers of this generation. So to see two of them together like that, and the memes afterwards and the pictures of them, just, oh man, that just gave extra meaning. And Kenny being in Ibushi's corner, even though he lost in the previous night, was also a great factor in them giving out information and like advice in the course of the match. That shit gave it another level on the match too, as itself. So it's like those little things matter, man. Man, it made me really happy to see Shibata just out there and just enjoying life.
Yeah, he looked like he was doing good. He looked strong. He looked, you know what I'm saying? He looked to have good mobility. So yeah, it just made me reflect like, dang, you know, like Hamna got fucking carted out of the ring, couldn't fucking move for like a month, and he actually wrestled on this card.
Yeah, Shibata, it was great.
Just took a headbutt and freaking, you know, can't wrestle no more. Like, whoa, life is unfair.
Yeah, life can be really unfair, but also we also have to keep in mind these are some of the best athletes in the world. So for them, this is just another challenge for them to get up and do better. So I'm happy to see them moving around and being good again. I'm probably one of those people still hold out hope. We see Shibata Russell again, but I don't want him to risk his health. So if I don't ever see him again, I still have all those memories and all those matches I can go back and watch. So props to Shibata, props to Tanahashi, props to Ibushi, and props to Omega. It was an awesome night.
So as we put a bow on this year's G1, just go through kind of some of the matches that still stick out to you, and I'll try to come up with a few different ones if you because I'm pretty sure we're gonna have about 3 or 4 of the same ones. But go ahead and start with your list, and I'll kind of fill in from there.
The best matches, I'm not going to give them a number. Of course, Tanahashi versus Okada. Of course, Omega versus Ibushi. Of course, the G1 Climax Finals, Tanahashi versus Ibushi. Those are no-brainers. Omega versus Ishii is another great match. Ibushi versus Ishii is another great match. Goto versus Ishii is another great match. A classic strong style type of match. They kept it in the ring. It was no outside effortry. They just brought it. Sonata versus Ibushi was awesome. And I think that was in Sonata's hometown. So that was a big victory for Sonata. And Naito versus Omega, of course. That set the tone for everything.
Right.
It was like, man, like Tanahashi versus problematic Elgin. That was an awesome match despite the wonky finish. Um, I think Okada versus Yoshihashi was awesome. I like Tanahashi versus Yoshihashi as well. It's a lot of matches, man. It's like Sonata versus Zack Sabre Jr. out wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. on his own ground. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Zack versus Naito was an awesome final match. And just like how we said, Ishii versus Sonata, it's like it's so many matches of high quality. And the beauty of G1 is like these matches are not super long. So say if you're at a lunch break or like a snack break, you could just bust through one of these during one of those. So it's like it's a lot of awesome matches, man. A lot of awesome
Yeah.
matches, and a lot of these it's going to be hard to like because we have if you're doing like a worldwide like match of the year thing, that's going to be really hard. It's not as hard as last year with New Japan, but
Yeah,
it's still
because
hard.
because
Still
last
hard.
year's because like a lot of because like 2/3 of the match, two of the participants got DQ'd for just about every match. Whereas last year, man, the whole tournament as a whole, from beginning to end, man, just about every match in there was like a 3-star match at the least last year,
At
man.
the least, it was at the least it was a 3-star. So
Yeah, last year's tournament, as far as a whole thing, as far as the whole tournament and match for match for match, I don't think there's been I've watched the last three, and that was definitely the best out of the last three.
out of the last three, I would agree, but the 26 is pretty good too. Though. Don't sleep on that.
Yeah.
26 is pretty good. I think the one in 2013 was strong as well. I remember that being really good.
Another match that you didn't have was Goto versus Ishii. That was a very good match.
Actually, I did have Goto versus
Yeah,
Ishii.
you said that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think you got all the ones the same ones that I had. Then I'm trying to think if there's something else. Another one that I may have. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Coda. Did you get that one in there?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
that
about
one was really
Zach?
good.
What about Zach versus Omega? That was pretty good
That
too.
was really good too. Yeah, yeah. So the B block in general, man, you just basically go through and just be like, every match in this B block was pretty fucking fire.
Yeah, that was the athleticism block, but we got to give Goto some grief. Don't put all the champions in one block again, brother. Don't
Yeah,
do that again. Nah,
yeah,
man. Put if you're gonna put a predominant amount of champions in one block, I guess okay. But split the difference, bro. Like have at least two champions on one block and the other champions in the other block. You know, and we kind of did miss having an intercontinental champion in there because that circumvented like potential title matchups. So
right, right.
I don't know. But what? Oh yeah, how would you feel about an Ishii versus Jericho match at Wrestle Kingdom for the Intercontinental Championship?
Sign me up, brother.
I think like the type of style that Jericho is working in Japan, I think that could work versus Ishii.
Yeah, I've heard Jericho talk about what his kind of inspiration has been.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's saying is that most of the guys, in a WWE, he's smaller than like 75% of the guys, right?
Yeah.
Where when he comes over here to Japan, he's bigger than like 90% of those guys, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what he said was he kind of adapted kind of what Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen would do as kind of like a roughhouse brawler type style, being the much bigger, guy that
It's a
he
smart
started.
move.
Yeah, that's kind of what he kind of goes into these matches kind of thinking. He said that was kind of his motivation for the Naito match, the championship match where he won the title. And they had the match just starts as a crazy ass brawl and is more of a brawl than a wrestling match. He says that, he got that from watching Bruiser Brody films and how Brody would just go in there and just eat those guys up because he's way bigger and way stronger. And he said that's what he kind of he was thinking, at least with this last few matches, at least the one with Naito, I mean, where he was like, yeah, I'm just going to go in there and eat him up. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and I'm just going to whip his ass.
He pretty much did that.
So
It's actually smart. It's a
yeah,
smart move to also do when you're aging. You can't do what you used to do technically wise. So
right.
that's also smart.
I mean, Chris Jericho, man. I mean, you don't stay around this business for 30 years and be able for the last 10 years be able to write your own ticket, do it however you want to, without being a creative mind and always having something fresh and new. That's the one thing you can always say about Chris Jericho. He may come back this next time we see him after this 4 or 5 month layoff, and he might be totally different than when we saw him wrestling against Naito with the crazy face paint and all that going on. So, you
Believe
know,
think about the fact that Chris Jericho at his age had a 5-star match. You know how
right.
hard, like he's about almost close to 50, and he killed it in Wrestle Kingdom. To me, him and Omega kind of stole that night from Okada and Naito, to be quite honest. But I mean, to
Yeah.
each his own.
Yeah, man. So, just as we put a bow on this year's G1, just another awesome tournament. I hope new fans of New Japan got a chance to kind of watch most of it, and kind of get a real feel for, most of what the New Japan product is about, especially in the heavyweight division. Didn't get to see a lot of the juniors in this go round, just due to the nature of the undercards and things setting up the matches for the next day. But as far as the heavyweight scene and seeing, the 18, 20 major guys that they picked out in the heavyweight scene just go at it for a month and a half is just fantastic. And I can't wait to see how next year's plays out. Besides Hangman Page, do you have another kind of breakout guy in this year's tournament?
Another breakout guy. Well, I mean, we already know how great Sonata could be. We just got to see it a bit more in this tournament. So you could probably say he's a breakout, but it's not really accurate. I think like as far as just a new star, it was just Hangman. But as a star that's talented and could move further up, you could probably give it a Sonata.
All right. All right. All right, Anwar. So at this point, man, I'm going to open it up to you for shout outs and thank yous. We've got a little hiatus here. The next New Japan events won't take place until like September 7th, I think I saw on the schedule. So got a couple of weeks here for the guys to kind of get rested, recover, go home, heal up, and then I come back and we'll get ready to head towards is it Destruction that we're getting ready to head towards, or King of Pro Wrestling? I think it's King of Pro Wrestling.
I think Destruction.
Okay, yeah. So we'll be on the road to Destruction when we come back in September. So looking forward to that. It was weird on Monday not having 2 hours of also wrestling to watch.
Yeah, it was. It's been kind of weird. Yes, the last couple of days.
So shout out to thank yous, Anwar.
Shout out to Moto. Miss you. I want to hear your voice again. I'd rather hear you on this podcast than me, but because I'm such a fan. Hope everything's going well. Hope if they're not, they get better. Shout out to Natty and the rest of the Hearts. I met Natty one time and she was great. I met Brett one time and she was great. And that's not always the case when people you admire and you meet them are great to you. So really feel bad for them. Anvil was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Harf and Dave Shane was my favorite tag team as a child. So yeah, man. Appreciate the people while you have them because we're not here forever. Let's
All right.
appreciate Brett while we have him.
I'd like to give a shout out to Miss Moto with some late breaking news. She said that she can join us for the next recording. So in
Yay!
September, hopefully Moto will be able to get back on the mic and give us some of her thoughts and theories. It's been long overdue. Can't wait.
Yeah. Yes.
Give a shout out to my co-host who's been filling in admirably in her absence, Mr. Anwar Starwin. Thank you very much, man, for helping us keep the podcast going.
No problem. I like being a helper.
Give a shout out to everybody who used the Cast a Strong Style hashtag for the last month and a half, who kept up with all the matches just like we did. We definitely appreciated y'all's commentary and y'all's thoughts and y'all's opinions. It was a lot of fun interacting, and continue to use the hashtag Cast a Strong Style to interact with us each and every week. Uh, if you're a fan of this show and you don't listen to the WrestleCast, check that out over on CSPN.us, where we do more of the WWE mainstream American wrestling reviews over there. Check out our Patreon page at cspn.com, at patreon.com/CSPN media. We've got exclusive content up over there. Become a CSPN backstage member to gain access to that. And you can also help support the podcast through Patreon or you can go to cspn.us, click on the sponsors tab, buy things from Amazon, Busted Tees, Blue Apron, Audible. You can support the podcast that way as well. So, for my co-host, Anwar Starwin, I'm Don Delarente, and this has been Cast of Strong Style. Thank you again, sir.
No problem. Do y'all do stuff for takeovers or something, or like shows or something, or you just give it a quick little shout out on this show? Because I'm really behind on WrestleCast.
No, man, we do everything. What we do is when we're gonna have we don't do a separate show, so we just lump it all in to the big review. So like what's gonna happen is this week we're gonna have special guest Jupiter Julep, and we're gonna do the preview.
Oh, she coming on. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have special. That's actually tomorrow. We're gonna have she's gonna be our special guest. So we're gonna do the preview for SummerSlam. We're gonna play Who You Got. That's like fucking 14 matches for SummerSlam by itself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so we're gonna play that game. Then we're gonna review Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or small Raw, SmackDown, Lucha Underground, NXT. Then I'll do no, I don't know if we'll play Who You Got, but I'll at least talk about the NXT card, talk about the matches, and then on the next show, our ladies are actually going to NXT. Didi Jonay, Jade to the Max, and Angelina are gonna be at the Barclays.
Oh, that's gonna be lit.
Yeah, so the next show next week will be them on the show, basically doing the review for SummerSlam and NXT. It's gonna be the ladies' night show since they went.
So Didi gonna be forced to sit through the pre-show. You can tell I laughed at her hard on that.
Yeah, so so I'm really looking forward to those shenanigans. I wish I could hire a camera crew to just follow them around for that day when they get ready, when they link up and do all their day drinking and everything like that. Oh my gosh, I wish I could just.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah, that would be the Patreon content right there, boy.
Oh boy.
Checking out them with their shenanigans. But yeah, I'm really excited to kind of hear their show coming up in a couple of weeks. We usually always try to do a ladies' night, you know, every season, so every quarter. So this will be the one for the summertime. Coming up.
That's one thing. I think that's really one good thing that y'all did, because no disrespect to dudes. I mean, everybody had his unique opinions, but the shows that have women on them with different perspectives, those are some of the better podcasts I listen to.
Dude, when Didi came on our show, it totally made our show 10 times more entertaining than it was when it was just me, Sam, and Greg. Because like Sam doesn't like anything. So he's always mostly fucking Oscar the Grouch. And they both are really into dirt sheets, so you know they're into spoilers and blah blah blah. I'm really not into kind of any of that stuff. I just kind of read like injury news is more my thing. I don't really try to read ahead or do too much into spoilers and everything. Yeah, so you know, we had that normal, you know, three guys who grew up in the 80s and 90s trying to, you know, navigate 2010s wrestling, you know. But when Didi came on our show and became a full-time co-host, like you said, her perspective as not being so immersed, being a fan, but not being on the inside of everything, knowing all the dirt and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Her perspective is just so fresh. And I tell her all the time, you're the star. You're the person who makes your show entertaining.
Yes, she is.
And then Jade, she came on. I think it was a show with like, it was like me, Jade, Didi, and may have been one other lady. I think because they had to get some extra guests because Sam and Greg couldn't both make it. And she was like, "Oh man, this was so much fun." And she was like, "So when are we gonna have the all ladies WrestleCast?" And I was like, "I'll do it, but you got to be the co-host because it's your idea." And she said, "Okay, I agree to that." And so ever since then, her and Didi, they are the host. And then I just kind of ask them who do they want to have on. And we try to, you know, move the guests around so they can, you know, talk to different ladies or whatever. But
Okay.
Yeah, that's where it wasn't my idea. I never take credit for it. I always give Jay her props for it. It's her idea. That's the reason why she's a co-host on the show.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's my favorite show that we do here on the WrestleCast. It's that show right there. So
That's what's up.
yeah, man. So now I got to get ready to go watch some NXT and some Lucha Underground and put together a podcast page and upload some podcasts. I might edit this one in the morning
Mm-hmm.
or later on tonight. I'll have to change my work schedule. This is my weekend, Thursday and Friday.
Mm.
This is gonna suck when football season starts. But
Oh
anyway,
no.
yeah, yeah. It's like, damn, this is when I wish my team had 16 or like 8 Thursday night games. So I could watch half of them on Thursday and the other half on the Sundays when I'm off. But
Mm.
yeah, I'll get adjusted to it. And what's gonna suck though is like when I get home from work on Sunday, I mean, I'm literally gonna get here in enough time to like take a shower. And when I roll out of the shower, it's gonna be like, oh, you gotta fire up the network because fucking the pre-show starts at like 5 o'clock. And they got like 3 matches on this pre-show this year.
Brother man, I don't do pre-shows like DJ.
So
I
and
probably will do it this time because I really like Cedric and um
yeah, Drew.
yeah, I also like seeing it in Rusev, but I probably will. I probably will.
Yeah. No, I'm the main note guy, so I watch everything, dude. I may
I
not
think
watch it. I may not watch it all in one conscious viewing, but I watch everything.
I think the revival using the heart attack was pretty awesome. They've done it before, but it was a really good,
Did you
a
see what
great.
Bubba? You see what hating ass Bubba Ray tweeted?
What do you say?
He couldn't just look at it. Oh man, that's a cool tribute. He was like, "Oh, they use one of the best tag team finishing moves for a mid-match high spot." Like,
He
dude.
oh, and see, he just did the thing that he kills us for doing. See how that hypocrisy goes?
Mm-hmm.
He said he did the thing that we wrestling fans do, and you could take yourself out of that moment and be so meta about it. Brett is already on the record as a revival fan. Brett has had Brett had the toy of the revival that Natty tweeted out. It's a love affair between that dude. The old heads usually got love for a revival. Don't sleep on that shit. They know that.
Mm-hmm.
So in the revival, that's another thing. If you ain't been really watching them, they've used the heart attack before.
Mm-hmm.
They've used that in NXT. They used the heart attack in Canada. So
They use a lot of moves. They use a lot of like Midnight Express type of moves. They
Busters.
yeah, the brain busters. Yeah, they use a bunch of classic tag team kind of spots that they take.
Oh my god, I wish the revival were out on the like just not in WWE because they would be the perfect for the fucking young bucks. They can make so much money together. It's just they can make so much money together, and it just sucks that they're separated. Oh man, but I kind of do feel like I think the revival might win on Sunday. Kind of hope they win because they've been through a lot the last year with the injuries and
Yeah, with
whatnot.
the injuries and everything. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see, man. I kind of made the like plea on my Twitter account for months about the B team, give them a push, let them win some matches. Like when they were with Miz, I was like, well, damn, they need to have the B team like beat up some people and win some matches so they can at least be credible as Miz's security, you know.
Hmm.
And then they kind of split them up or whatever, and then all of a sudden they gave him the push, and I was like, if they let the B team win some matches, let them talk. I was like, they'll be over huge. And like 2 weeks, they were bam right there.
I like Bo and I like Curtis,
Yeah,
so it's
man.
good for them.
Yeah, definitely good for them. So WWE's gonna have to do something though, man, because you got a 6 hour show. You won't have the Usos on it. You won't have Naomi on it. You won't have Bailey on it. You won't have Sasha on it. You won't have there's like 8 or 9 the bar. There's like 8, especially on the SmackDown side. There's a whole bunch of people that aren't
They
even going to be on the show.
they just be hoarding talent, my dude. On paper, we were like, oh yes, no more like single brand pay per views and all of them. Man, when you started like setting up the rosters to be more balanced, you really it just messes things up because we're not seeing the best wrestlers on a month-to-month basis in pay-per-views.
Right.
So they really messed up on that. And when you don't have the best wrestlers and you trying to put out these long ass pay-per-views, when I got to sit there and have to watch Carmella in a wrestling match to try to be like suspend disbelief that she's actually good enough to be in the ring with Becky or fucking Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte pretty much said it, dog. Like you're a diva in a woman's world right now. So just I like
Yeah.
Carmella as like a mouthpiece, but not as no damn wrestler.
Oh, well, that's the whole reason her and Alexa Bliss have the belts is because they're the best talkers. They can spit all that shit out and not really miss a beat.
Yeah, but at least Alexa can has a pulse in the ring. She's not great, but she's good. She's kind of like Miz in a way that she has that balance they want in that company, but man, it's still certain things that's missing in that in ring aspect or whatnot.
Right. Right. Well, all right,
All right,
sir.
man.
I appreciate you this evening. And like I said, I'll get back up with you in September. And hopefully, man, we'll get it coordinated with Moto. All three of us will be able to be on this show for once. That'll be awesome.
It'll be awesome. All right, man.
All right, man. Have a good evening.
Same.
Thank you.